Wizard, Baby Dragon, Inferno Tower. What do these three cards have in common? They're arsonists, which is a pretty serious crime. That got me thinking, how many other cards in Clash Royale have committed crimes? Well, when you think about it, nearly every card that isn't a spell or building has committed crimes. And here is a comprehensive list of American federal crimes committed by the cards of Clash Royale, in order of least to most severe. Also, stick around until the end so you learn the true master criminal of the Clash universe. Also, stuff like hate crimes and bank robbing, or anything that really depends on your matchup or game mode won't count, since most cards can kill a Hog Rider. Evos and temporary troops also will not be considered. We start with the no crime tier. Funnily enough, there are only two cards that have ever existed in the game that have never committed a single crime, and that being the now removed heal spell and the Elixir Collector. These two cards deal no damage whatsoever, so they cannot be considered for assaulting with a deadly weapon, homicide, manslaughter, or destruction of property, which are all very common crimes later on. These cards have little going on with them, and they are both inanimate objects, so even if they did commit crimes, how would you charge them? This brings up another major thing, since a lot of the buildings and spells have no conscience, thus don't know they're committing crimes. The only logical thing would be to charge the king, the one who is exploiting all of these crime machines. But that is for later. With our two non-criminals gone, we move up to our one crime cards. This category includes the Rage, Giant Snowball, Freeze, Mirror, and Clone. Freeze, Rage, and Snowball are all charged with manslaughter, which means that they kill without the intent to do so. Mirror and Clone get charged with identity theft, and they are the only cards to receive this charge. Good job guys, you're unique for once. However, all these cards are spells, so the crimes can't be charged against the card themselves, rather they get charged to the user, the king. With those cards gone, we can move on to the two crime cards. There are 7 cards that have committed 2 crimes. They are the Arrows, Zap, Lightning, Poison, Log, Earthquake, and Tornado. They all have the exact same crimes, being manslaughter and assault with deadly weapon. All charged to the king, of course, since they don't have a conscience. This is why they get manslaughter and homicide and assault with a deadly weapon, because lightning, arrows, and natural disasters are all deadly objects, unlike snowballs and mirrors. You can make a case that the one crime spells could be charged with assault with a deadly weapon, since they can do damage, but their purpose is more for their effects rather than the damage. 3 crime cards. There surprisingly weren't any 3 crime cards. A lot of cards share crimes that put them into higher categories, so that could explain this. 4 crime cards. There is only one card that's committed 4 crimes, and it's Fireball. Its crimes are arson, bombing, manslaughter, and the use of fire or explosive to destroy property. This card definitely commits a lot of fire-related crimes. Time for the cards that commit 5 crimes. This tier is for most of the cards in the game. The cards in this tier include the Knight, Archers, Goblin, Giant, Minions, Mini P.E.K.K.A, Spear Goblins, Goblin Hut, Skeletons, Valkyrie, Tombstone, Barbarians, Cannon, Mega Minion, Battle Ram, Electro Spirit Bats, Flying Machine, Hog Rider, Rocket, Witch, P.E.K.K.A, Skarmy, Goblin Barrel Guards, Royal Giant, Royal Recruits, Royal Hogs, Prince, Dark Prince, Ice Spirit, Ice Golem, Battle Healer, Goblin Gang, Skeleton Barrel, Dark Goblin, Barbarian Hut, Goblin Giant, Minion Horde, Elite Barbarians, Hidden Tesla, Zappies, Expo, Miner, Electro Wizard, Ram Rider, Mega Knight, Electro Dragon, Ice Wizard, Royal Ghost, Graveyard Rascals, Heal Spirit, Bowler, Electro Giant, Magic Archer, Royal Delivery, Elixir Golem, Executioner, Goblin Drill, Lumberjack, Night Witch, Cannon Cart, Fisherman, Mother Witch, Golden Knight, Archer Queen, Skeleton King, Monk, and a Little Prince. Jesus Christ, that is most of the cards in the game. Almost every single one of these cards has the exact same crimes that I listed as A in the script. I wasn't very creative coming up with that. That was just so the list was readable for me. The A crimes are a group of 5 crimes that nearly every card commits. These crimes being homicide, assault with a deadly weapon, destruction of property, assassination, and trespassing. Every card that does damage can kill, thus they can commit a murder, and I'm not going to go into specific degrees of murder, so I just went with homicide. Then there was assault with deadly weapon, which goes along with homicide since most of the cards use a deadly weapon to kill. Destruction of property since they can destroy enemy king towers, which aren't your side's property, as well as their mechanical troops and buildings. Assassination is also included since troops can kill princesses and kings, and soon to be king cousins. Finally, trespassing, since your units can cross into enemy territory, which the opponent does not want you to do. Also, buildings can be placed in your enemy's territory if you take one of their towers, so they count as well. The only 5 crime cards to not have these exact 5 crimes are Cannon, Mini P.E.K.K.A., P.E.K.K.A., Tesla, Expo, Zappies, and Cannon Cart, as they all commit manslaughter instead of homicide due to them not being sentient creatures, although that's debatable for the P.E.K.K.A.s. Finally, Rocket has completely unique crimes, including arson, bombing, manslaughter, use of fire explosives to destroy property, and the use of a weapon of mass destruction. Arson is debatable, but with all the fire coming out of the back of the rocket, it would likely start a fire in real life. The rest should be pretty self-explanatory. This part also brings up one of the things I'm not too sure how I should judge the cards on. Should cards with multiple cards inside them be charged individually? Like, for the goblins, should I charge each separate goblins 5 crimes and have the goblin card have 20 crimes? I decided against this, but I'll include some notably higher crime counts later on. With most of the major cards out of the way, we move on to the 6 crime cards. In the 6 crime tier, we have the Musketeer, Goblin Cage, Mortar, 3 Musketeers, Golem, Hunter, Sparky, and Bandit. Musketeer, 3 Musketeers, and Hunter are all charged with the A crimes: homicide, assault with a deadly weapon, destruction of property, assassination, trespassing, as well as the illegal possession of firearms. I'm assuming this because we don't get to see a proper gun license from them. Goblin Cage has all the A crimes as well as escaping custody. Mortar, Golem, and Sparky each get the use of fire explosives to damage property added onto them. For Golem, the explosion is from the death damage, and you can interpret Mortar's attack as an explosion. Finally, the Bandit is the only card in the game to get charged with robbery, mostly due to her name. Now we move on to the Arson tier, as I call it, since nearly every card in that tier commits arson. For the Arsonist tier, we get the Fire Spirit, Wizard, Skeleton Dragons, Inferno Tower, Baby Dragon, Balloon, Giant Skeleton, Furnace, Princess, Inferno Dragon, Wallbreakers, Phoenix, Lava Hound, and Mighty Miner. Outside of Balloon, Giant Skeleton, Wallbreakers, and Mighty Miner, these guys are charged with arson and the use of fire to destroy property. For Phoenix, death damage seems fiery enough, and everything else would make sense. For Balloon, Giant Skeleton, Wallbreakers, and Mighty Miner, instead of arson, they commit a bombing, since all of them use a bomb in their attack, albeit one without fire, thus making them not arsonists. Time for the 8 crime committers. We only have 2 criminals in this tier, being the Bomber and Bomb Tower, both committing the A crimes in addition to arson, bombing, and the use of fire explosive to destroy property. The reason they get put here instead of being in the arsonist tier is because they have much more fiery bombs, unlike the balloon bombs or wallbreaker bombs, which have little to no fire. Now we have the most crimes committed by a single card in the game, being the Firecracker. This troublemaker commits the A crimes of homicide, assault with a deadly weapon, destruction of property, assassination, and trespassing, as well as the illegal possession of a firearm, since I count the bazooka as a firearm. She also commits arson, since it's called the Firecracker, and the sparks are very fiery. She also has the use of fire explosives to destroy property, very obvious why, and finally bombing, since the shot she shoots is clearly an explosive. Who would have guessed that Firecracker is actually the biggest criminal in the game, next to people like the Bandit or literal bombers? Actually, the Firecracker is also the biggest war criminal in the game as well, having 3 war crimes and being the only character to use cluster munitions. Good job, Firecracker. And finally, we take a look at the King, the biggest committer of crimes. The King commits child exploitation, possible if any cards are minors, which the princesses seem to be, murder, assault with a deadly weapon, destruction of property, advocating to overthrow a government, a word that I cannot say that rhymes with pesticide, use of weapons of mass destruction, and every crime a spell or inanimate object commits, which totals to 10 accounts of assault, 17 accounts of manslaughter, 2 accounts of identity theft, 3 arsons, 2 bombings, and 6 A-class crimes, and a few others I'm not going to mention. In total, the King has committed 65 crimes. Also, for advocating the overthrow of a government, the other side is controlled by a king, which is a form of government, and he is trying to destroy him. With all these crimes, it is very likely the king will be sent to jail for life. However, one card stands above even the king, the Skeleton Army. This is the card with the most spawned troops at once from what I know of, and in total the 15 skeletons commit 75 crimes. And that's the highest crime number committed by the one, the only, Larry. Also, I don't count Skeleton King. Theoretically, he could get more, but I'm only counting the cards initially spawned. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed. Like and subscribe, and here's a video I'm sure you'll enjoy. Have a great day, and see you guys next time.